How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and to be young again. Today I'm here to rank the ultimate neighborhoods for young professionals in Denver, Colorado, and we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everson. Listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to or around the Denver metro area, or Front Range for that matter, then this is the channel for you. So make sure you click on that subscribe button as I drop new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I try to be a little educational here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of the state's most talented realtors. And we're helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I'm always the person answering your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails. There, win in if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun stuff, let's figure out what are the ultimate neighborhoods for young professionals in Denver. All right, so the first thing I had to do to prepare for this video was, shake off my oldness. Like, what do I know about being a young professional in Denver? I'm 46 years old. I live in the suburbs. I have a wife and a kid. I know a lot because I lived in Denver when I was young. I kid. So, first neighborhood that I would like you to consider when we're talking about the ultimate neighborhoods for young professionals in Denver is Cap Hill, good old Capitol Hill, located close to the Capitol. So you're right in the heart of Denver. You're right along Broadway. You're right along Colfax. You have access to a lot of amenities that you want when you're young, getting about and enjoying life. You've got shops, you've got different concert venues, you've got restaurants. Again, you're right in the heart of Denver, so you can get around anywhere you want to go there. It's also a great neighborhood for renting, and that might be a time in life, not to say that someone shouldn't buy a house. Knock, knock, here's my phone number. But at that time of life, as you go around Cap Hill, you're going to see a lot of these historic Victorian homes that have been chopped into apartments. It's just a great community. Got local parks like Cheeseman right there. A lot of reasons to get outdoors. And just a good energy place. And then obviously, a lot of folks are going to be moving to Denver for their positions. They're going to be working somewhere around the Denver metro area, centrally located. Parking can be a bit of a challenge, but if you're living in a city and you don't have either a garage or assigned space, what can I tell you? Get used to it. That's just kind of the way of the world. Parking is a challenge. Second up on the list, locals are going to call it 5 Points. You're going to hear a lot of people call it RiNo or River North because Denver got into this big kick of, renaming neighborhoods or giving every neighborhood a nickname. Regardless, 5 Points, a great area for a lot of different reasons. As far as housing options, you've got just about anything. You've got condos, townhomes, detached homes. You've got brand new. You've got houses that have been around for a while. Art is a huge thing in RiNo. 5 Points. I'm just going to keep calling it 5 Points. You can call it RiNo, whatever. At the end of the day. So a ton of art there. You've got Brighton Boulevard with just a strip of great restaurants, shops, bars, breweries. Again, those art galleries. Just a lot of things to do there in 5 Points. You're also 5 Points and Lodo, lower downtown, which is home to Coors Field and a lot of the different bars and nightlife that Denver has are pretty close to each other. They're within a few minutes. So not necessarily interchangeable by any means, but living in one gives you pretty quick access to the other. So you have that amenity right there. Larimer, a stretch of road there in 5 Points. That's among my favorite areas to hang out. Again, just a lot of great restaurants, good food, good drinks. If you're at that young age where you don't like a lot of noise and you don't like, a lot of traffic, a lot of, fun chaos, then it might not be for you. But it's a pretty fun place to live. And same thing that I mentioned with Cap Hill. I think Cap Hill is going to be a bit more affordable than 5 Points. RiNo. I'm just going to keep going back and forth on that. I'm so used to being trained to say RiNo at this point. But again, parking. And the thing that you're going to hear about 5 Points, and it's true, there's no denying it. There's been a lot of gentrification that has occurred in that area. 5 Points was an area that a lot of people didn't go to. A lot of people didn't spend time in. And then you had this movement, if you will, a lot of new construction there. Certainly, I don't think it's deniable that there were people that were, pushed out due to affordability challenges, and now it's become a place that's a lot more costly to live, and that has really changed the demographic of that community. Again, undeniable. Next up, and the next two are one and the same or interchangeable, but I do want to make a simple distinction, if you will, is the Lower Highlands. So you have the Highland community, you have the Lower Highlands, or what we call LoHi, and then Highlands. So LoHi, located just west of Denver. So Highlands are right on the western edge of Denver, just across I-25 from downtown. LoHi, among the most popular communities and one of my absolute favorite neighborhoods, filled with shops and restaurants, coffee shops, and just things to do. It's one of the most walkable neighborhoods you are going to find anywhere. Again, a lot of different living options: apartments, townhomes, condos, detached, etc. A lot of historic places, but you'll have a mix. So you have some historic places, that were built at the beginning of the 19th century, and then you've got brand new construction. You've got places that have been completely renovated. Some of your most popular bars and restaurants: Linger, Avanti's, Happy Camper. For some reason, you have all these places, and when I go to name them, my brain goes numb. But just all these different places: Recess, Pastinos. I digress. So LoHi is going to be one of just the best neighborhoods. If you don't live there, I strongly suggest you visit there. It's a blast. Now, let's say you take a look at LoHi and maybe you say, no, you know what, that's a bit too lively. It's a bit too hard. I keep saying parking. Sorry, but let's say parking is too much of a pain in the butt. You don't like how much foot traffic there is. You don't like how busy the community is. You want an urban feel, but you want a little bit more of a suburban neighborhood. That's where you're going to go from LoHi over to the Highlands, which is just moving a little farther west. The Highlands themselves run all the way to Sheridan Boulevard. So it stretches from, again, I-25, it's downtown Denver, over to Sheridan. Now, before I mention the Highlands, I do have to mention one last thing about LoHi that I almost forgot. LoHi also has the Highlands Bridge, takes you right across over to Commons Park, right into the heart of downtown. So one of the best locations that you can possibly think of. So now getting into the Highlands, one, you still have different stretches where you've got a ton of walkability, different parks. You've got the intersection of 32nd and Lowell, which has, again, several different restaurants, shops, boutiques. I have a friend that owns a shop over there. So you still have walkability. It's just, again, a little chiller, if you will, than LoHi. Same thing as far as housing, ton of different options, and you'll see a lot of different styles of homes. I love LoHi as an area to hang out. If I could live anywhere, cost wasn't an option, because the Highlands are by no means cheap, especially if you want to buy something, I would probably say the Highlands would be among my #1 choices if money was not an option. Of course, then somebody would start telling me about Cherry Hills. Next up, and potentially a little more affordable compared to some of these others, is Baker. So Baker is South Denver, located along Broadway, right around I-25. Within Baker, I'm just going to randomly tell you, is a restaurant called Brewery Bar 2, which you're only going to know because I told you, but it's some of the best Mexican food you're ever going to find. Green chili, chili rellenos. Probably going to go eat there after I make this video just for saying it, but I can't mention Baker without giving that restaurant a shout out. No, I don't have any ownership rights. I just eat a lot of green chili, and I have to tell you, because who would think a Mexican restaurant would be named Brewery Bar 2? But Baker, one, again, affordability, a lot of different, great apartments, townhomes, some new construction, some good walkability. Again, you have quick access there to Broadway, which is a great stretch of bars and restaurants. A lot happens along Broadway, then stretching down into South Broadway. You're also going to be close with Baker. You're close to areas like Platt Park. You can get over to Wash Park pretty quickly. So you've got these surrounding communities that are going to be a benefit to you. And Baker is going to be an area that I think allows you to have access to all of these other places while not necessarily spending money by living in those places, if that makes sense. I think the funniest thing about this video is I made my list of pros and cons. The pros are all pretty similar and the cons are all pretty similar. At the end of the day, you're living near a city, so parking is a challenge and it's noisy and there's a lot of traffic. But at the same time, you're living in a city, so that's where the action is. That's where the juice is found. And then last, and admittedly, this is not an area that I ever, necessarily spent a ton of time in, but man, does it get just a lot of positive reviews from people that I talk to, and that's City Park. So again, a lot of apartment living down there. I mean, you can find different amenities, condos, townhomes, etc. And there's certainly detached homes as well, but you have a lot of people renting down in City Park. You have the park itself, there's some golf course there, you've got the Denver Zoo, you've got museums, you've got different stretches of bars and restaurants. You're pretty close to 17th Avenue, again, great stretch filled with restaurants, breweries, art galleries. That's art in general is a big thing in downtown Denver, continues to grow. So City Park is gonna be one of those communities that has just a lot of good energy to it. And that quick access, obviously, to getting downtown. Now, I do think, City Park, kind of the perspective was that the nightlife there is a little tamer. If nightlife is a big deal to you, then you might find in RiNo or Lodo. But I mean, I think like Lodo is like kind of, that's the party area. That's where clubs are. If Denver doesn't really have a lot of clubs, but I mean, I think that's when I think of going out to nightclubs, that's a Lodo thing. Everywhere else is mainly bars. It's fun places, it's breweries, it's things of that nature. City Park definitely checks the box there. So overall, I mean, to me, I think, Cap Hill, City Park, Baker, those are going to give you excellent options as far as affordability. 5 Points, could have a mix. You could be in a place that is pretty pricey and you could find something that's reasonable. Probably on the higher end of affordability is where you get into LoHi. Highlands being a little bit better. Because of the nature of the Highlands, you get more into certain communities where it's more detached homes. There's not necessarily as many apartments, but plenty of options. Overall, though, within all of these communities, you've got great areas for younger people or older people. It's not like there's an age requirement where once you're 46 they boot you, even though they might have to. I am getting gray. But overall, just some great communities to explore, quick access to Denver. All of them have relatively quick access to get over into the mountains if that's your thing. And of course, they're all in Denver, so getting from one to the other certainly going to be pretty easy. And if you yourself are a young professional, an old professional, a retired person, whatever, doesn't matter. We don't discriminate in this world. I certainly don't. And that's a perfect opportunity to hit me up with a phone call, with a text, with an email, any questions you have. I'd love to hear about them and I'd love to chat about them. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host. That was ranking the ultimate neighborhoods for young professionals in Denver. Until I see you next time, peace.